go. So good morning, my name's Lisa. I'm going to be your educator today. Basically, I've been in the industry for the last 10 years, predominantly running a salon, but now also doing various classes for training, etc. Would you like to introduce each of yourselves so that we can establish what you're hoping to gain from today's course?
Yeah, my name's Charlene. I've never done a gel removal before and I'm looking forward to doing this course.
Okay, thank you, Charlene.
I'm Sasha. I am a beautician, but I haven't done nails before, so I'm here to learn.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I've only done acrylics, so I'm looking to get into doing gels.
Okay, thank you. So basically the objective today is for us to learn how we can safely do a gel removal, and there's two methods that we use to do that, or that we can use. I'm going to give you each a handout of the two methods we're going to do today. So one of the methods is a foil removal, and the other method is where we actually do a soak as a removal. So I'll give you each one of these.
And how long would you say each method takes?
It can vary. If it's actually a method that you've basically done the gel polish in-house, naturally you're going to know your products, so I would say it'll be a lot quicker. Somebody comes from outside, you don't necessarily know what products they have used. So I would probably say for a gel removal, both foil and the soak method, probably looking about 20 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
That's how long I would allow yourselves. Okay, so we'll go over today how we do both of the removals. I've also got a PowerPoint presentation here, which I will also go over with you as well to make things a lot easier. And once I've gone over how we're going to do this, the two methods, then what we will do is I will do a demo on one of you, and then I'll get each of you to do a demo on each other for both methods. So you won't need to do both hands on each colleague, but you'll need to show me an example of the methods you use. So the first method we're going to discuss today is the gel polish foil removal methods. So when we're doing a foil removal, well, any removal, whether it be foil or the full soak removal, I advise that you get three types of buffers. So you've got your main buffer block that you'll use. This is really used towards the end of the removal. You've got a 100-180 grit. A lot of the times you will use this if you're trying to get a removal off of acrylic, or if it's maybe a biab and you're trying to get that first hard layer off. We'd never use this file method on a natural nail because it's too coarse and then you could cause damage to the nail. And then you've got a 240 grit file, which is what we use on a natural nail. So it's not as hard, it's not going to cause damage to the nail plate or anything like that. Any questions on any of that?
How do you know like what file is what? Does it like say it on the file, or is there like different colours of files?
There are different colours of files, but all files that you use will always say what the grit is. So you'll see it just here that you've got the grit. So this one's a 100-180 grit, and this is called a 240-240. So basically both sides that you use are the same grit, and then you've just got a buffer block. Buffer blocks don't always come like this. You can get buffer blocks like this, and you can also get the white buffer blocks. So there are different types of buffer blocks to use. And then when it comes to the foil removal, which is what we're going to discuss first, again, these foils actually have the soaking part implemented in the foil. If they don't have this, you can buy just regular foil and then cut cotton pads up and then soak that in the acetone to do the removal. But they're all various types. Any questions that you think later on as you go along you need to ask, just let me know. So if we talk about the foil removal, so initially when we do a foil removal, we need to, whether it be a gel removal on an acrylic or a gel removal on the natural nail, the first thing you need to do is actually crack the seal on the nail. Otherwise, if you was just to go straight in and wrap the person's nails immediately, the acetone wouldn't soak through and allow the removal to be done. So we need to be removing the top shiny layer of the gel polish, and for that, as I said before, you'll use the 180 grit to do this. You'll then basically either soak this cotton pad here in acetone, which I always have mine labelled. You've got acetone and then you also got prep clean. This is just something that we use at the end to wipe all the dust, etc. off the natural nail. You'll soak the pad in acetone, whether that be this type of foil removal or whether it be a cotton pad, and then you're wrapping it in foil. So we'll soak the cotton pad in acetone, and apply it to the nail. So what we're going to do is actually wrap the foil around the cotton wool to keep it in, and then tap. Basically it's going to trap in the heat, and that's why we use foil. A bit like the same as with hair as well. When you have highlights, it develops a lot quicker because it's wrapped in foil, so the heat penetrates and does the removal for you. And then you'll leave them to soak for approximately 10 minutes. Once they've soaked for 10 minutes, you'll then start removing one file at a time and gently scraping away the gel polish from the cuticle area, which to do that, I'll just get one out here. So we forgot. So it's one of these basically. So it's like a bit like what you'd use to do your cuticles, your own cuticles. You're doing the same to basically scrape away the gel polish. So once you've scraped away the gel polish towards the echinacea, towards the end of the nail plate, then you would then go in with the buffer block to remove any excess. If you're still finding at that point, you know what, I need to do it again, wrap again. Never take all the foil off every single nail. Try and work one by one as you go along, okay? And that's basically what you will do continuously to remove.
Why would you do it one by one? Is that so?
Because if you imagine you've put and wrapped all your fingers in foil, and then you basically take all of those foils off, you've put those other nails in the air. There's two reasons. A, it means that then they've stopped soaking away any gel, and you don't know at that time whether the gel's ready to completely come off in one go. And secondly, it's also going to waste your time as a therapist. So by doing it one by one, you're going through a process to actually get the gel off, okay? So once all the gel is removed from the nails, basically you'll then get your client, and you've buffed the nails, you'll then get your client to go away and wash their hands. You've got two options then. If they're going for just a natural colour on top of their nails, you then get them back, do a manicure, etc. So before we go on to the next method, I'm going to do an example of what we would be doing in this case. And then I'll get each one of you to also do an example so that you both feel comfortable in it. Before I do a demo, any of you got any questions? No? Can I use you today, Morgan, to do the demo? Is that okay? So basically your client's going to come in, you're going to sterilise both your hands and the client's hands. We know, for example, in this case, you can automatically see the shine on the nail. So that's when I'm talking about we need to crack the seal. That's what we need to be doing. So who can tell me, just recapping, what file I would go in with in order to crack the seal off the nails?
The 180.
Yeah, and why is that?
Just because it's not as harsh, but it's not as soft as the buffer, right?
Exactly, well done. So basically I'm going to take the nail, I always pull back either side of the nail so that I can get right in and crack it. And basically you're going to go in sweeping movements like this. Can you all see how it's now going from a shiny nail to a dull looking nail?
Mm-hmm.
So basically you're going to be going around like this, removing all the shine off of the nail. Be very careful. One thing I would say, when you're doing this and it's a new file, be careful not to nip the client's skin or cuticle area, okay? If you need to soften down your files, you can always rub one file against the other. But as I said, basically you're going to go in and you're going to remove. It's quite a quick motion, you don't need to spend hours on it. Move on to the next one. And again, get rid of all of the seal. It's better to overfile to get rid of the shiny seal opposed to under. And I'll just do those two because I can get you to move on. Then, as I said before, you're going to take a piece of the foil that's already got the cotton pad in. Do all of the foils already come with a cotton pad?
No.
Okay. What would you do if it never had the cotton pad there?
So you would cut up a cotton disc and then soak that with normal tin foil.
Exactly, well done. So I'm just going to soak it with the acetone. I'm going to take the nail like this and basically make sure the pad's completely over the nail and then tuck the foil in. It needs to be secured tightly in order to allow it to trap in the heat and develop to do the removal. And I'll do the next one, and then what I'll do is I'll get each one of you to come over and do a nail each for me. Once you do this, I really wouldn't go in much before the 10-minute. It's no good putting it on, say, putting every finger with the foil extract and then going straight back and trying to get it removed. It's not going to happen. And it's even going to take longer if it's acrylic. We're only doing a gel removal today, but allow it to develop. It's better to go leave it a bit longer. So at that point, either make conversation with your client as in what are they going to do today, what are they looking for, are they getting another gel, what colours, just make conversation, offer them a cup of tea, anything like that. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment. Charlene, do you want to come over and have a go yourself? That's it, so pull that back, that's exactly it. You can go in a little bit harder, you're not going to hurt. Remember on this part, because the lady's got acrylics on, you really need to get in there and crack that seal. Excellent. How are you finding that?
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
Good. That's fine. So you've cracked all that, then you'll go in with what will you use next to go in with?
Yeah, tinfoil.
Excellent. So just remember to soak that area where the cotton pad is in acetone. That's right, just place it, just make sure you wrap it tight because you don't want it to slip off. You basically want to trap in that heat so it... Excellent. Did you want to come over, Sasha, and have a go? So yeah, that's it, flip back. Excellent, how are you finding that?
Yeah, good.
Remember just to get rid of all that shine to the nail. Perfect. Remember when you're doing a soak off as well, it's pure acetone that you need to use. You've got regular acetone and you've got pure acetone. For things like this, you need to use the pure acetone. That's perfect. So what we'll do now is we'll just envisage that this is ready to come off because I know we're against time today. So what we would do is we'd basically unwrap, you'd go in with your cuticle pusher and you'd start working down. Or you can work towards, you can move in either direction. And can you see how now the top layer is starting to melt and come off? Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Now if we'd left that a bit longer, like I was saying, make sure you leave it, that would actually have come off a lot more. So basically, once I've scraped it, until I'm actually getting to the natural nail, I would continue with a 180 grit. But for example, say now I had got down to almost the natural nail plate, I would then go with the 240 grit because it's a lot softer, even when you can hear the difference with this on it compared to the other. And basically you would carry on with that process, moving backwards and forwards until all of the removal had been done with the gel foil removal process. So let's just take these off and say hypothetically we've done them, so that we can move on to the next method. Just file this off, give a quick scrape. Just go in there, let's make it a little bit rougher. Perfect. And then once we were down at the end of it, if these were all off, then we'd just go over with buffer to buff the natural nail so it would stay soft. Get the client to wash their hands, either come back, do a file and tidy, put some cuticle oil on. All right, so we just go over. So that is basically the foil method for a removal. Anybody got any questions on that?
No.
Is there like a method you'd recommend more? Like, is one better than the other?
Excellent question. So yes, what I would say is if your clients come in and it's purely a gel removal, so they've only got gel polish on the nails, I would definitely recommend the foil method. You don't need to be soaking the hands in pure acetone to get it off a lot quicker. The foil method, cracking the nail, wrapping them, is a lot quicker method if it's just purely gel. If your client comes in and they've got biab and the biab needs to come off, which is the builder and the bottle gels that you've used previously, or it's an acrylic, then I would soak them. It's a lot quicker. Okay, so that's what I try to ascertain when you start doing it. You'll know from your regular clients, but you might go onto your booking system and it could be a new client. So until they come in, you don't necessarily know what they've got on the nails. So basically do your quick discussion with your client, find out what they've got on and what they're looking to achieve for the appointment.
So if your client like came from another salon and didn't know if it was like a normal gel polish or like biab, would you just automatically just use the bowl method? So
no, I probably wouldn't. To be honest, you would probably know when your client comes in what they've got on their nails. You really would know if they've got an acrylic on or if it's just a regular gel polish. And at that point, if you think, hang on, they've got a biab on, which again you will know with the texture, then I would go straight into the soak method, which is what we'll discuss next. All right. So moving on then quickly to the soak removal method. So again, whether it be a foil method or a soak method, do you think it's important that the first thing we do is crack the seal off the top of the nails? Or do you think if we're going to soak, we don't need to do that? What do you think, Charlene?
I still think you need to crack them.
100% right. So it doesn't matter what method you're going to do, both methods you need to take that top shiny seal off. Okay, so basically again, I'll take the shop's top shiny seal off with a 240 file. Is that correct, Sasha?
No. It's
No?
180.
Excellent. Okay, just so that I know you've all got an understanding. And then basically what's going to happen from there, you're going to use 2 bowls. So again, it's almost using like a heat method again. In the bottom, you're going to put hot water, and then in the smaller bowl, you're going to put acetone. Okay, and basically the heat that's coming from the bottom is what makes the acetone penetrate and basically do the removal. So you'll prepare your bowls. The large bowl, as I said, with warm water, and the smaller bowl will be placed inside with acetone. You'll submerge your fingers into the acetone bowl and place a towel over the hands tightly to keep in the heat. So basically they're going to insert both their hands like this into the bowl, and then you'll wrap them in a towel. At that point, you'll leave them to soak again for 10 minutes, and then everything else, the process is the same. So it'll be 10 minutes. You'll say to your client, okay, leave that hand in, can you give me one hand? So I'll take the first hand and then I'll start working on it. Okay, so remove one hand at a time, gently scrape the gel polish from the nail using a cuticle pusher, scrape down from the eponychium towards the nail plate. And then again, at the end, as you're getting closer to the nail, you're going to switch nail grits, and basically at the end of it, you'll be going over it with a buffer. Okay, so I'll quickly show you how to do this method. So if we just envisage, we put hot water in here and this in here, we'd get the client's nails to be completely submerged into this, like this, and we'd wrap it in a towel, and then we're going to wait 10 minutes. At that time, if both hands were in, you would basically say to your client, okay, leave that hand in, I'm going to take this hand, and again, you're going to go through that whole process. You're going to use your 100, 180 grit to do your removal, scrape. As you get closer to the nail, you're going to go to the 240 grit, and then to finish off, you're going to go buffer, get your clients to wash their hand, and then you're going to ascertain whether they're going to just have a tidy up or anything like that. Okay, and then of course, as we always do, we finish off with applying cuticle oil to the nail beds. So they're the 2 methods of doing a gel removal. Any questions? No? Right, okay. Do you want to have another go at doing more of the removal to get this removed? Just to clarify that we've gone over everything again. Would you like to have another go? So when we use cuticle oil at the end of it, does any of us know why we put cuticle oil on the cuticles? What the benefits of using a cuticle oil is?
Is it to nourish the natural nail?
Yep, it is. One of them is to nourish the natural nails, yes. Morgan, do you have any ideas of what it is?
To keep them healthy.
Yeah, that's another good one. And yourself, Charlene?
To stop them drying out.
Yeah. So would you really promote cuticle oil to your clients?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you do, say, for example, in a case where you've done it 10 minutes and, for example, 3 of the nails have automatically, they've all come off, but there's a one stubborn on the thumb. Would you continue, if we was using this method, to constantly put the whole entire hand into the bowl?
No.
Exactly. So what?
Just put the thumb in the bowl.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's very different with the foil method because you're in control of how you're soaking them off. But with the method like this, once the acrylic or the gel starts coming away from the nail and there's nothing on it, but you've still got stubborn ones that aren't, you've got 2 options. You can either only put the stubborn one back in or even wrap it. If you wrap it, then you can continue moving on and saving time to achieve your end result, opposed to putting the whole hands back in. What do you think the negative points or the disadvantages are if we kept putting the client's hands into the acetone?
Might irritate their skin.
Yeah, exactly. It can irritate their skin.
Like dry out their fingers.
Yeah, and we sometimes see that. They'll remove their hands and then it looks like they've got all white here. It's acetone can really dry out. Excellent. Do you want to come and have another go?
Yeah.
Remember, you can go a bit harder when you're doing this. You're not going to hurt the client because you really do want to get rid of that
So
shiny
is like
overlay.
using a nail file the only way that you can like break the
Seal.
seal?
No, there are other methods that you could break a seal. I don't know if any of you have qualified in using an e-file. So basically it's another method. As you go on into the industry, there's a tool called an e-file which a lot of people use because it's less strenuous on the hand. That would also break off. And to be honest, if you were e-file trained, it is a lot quicker because in one go you can really get actually the whole gel polish off. So once you've done that, whilst that's
Take this one off.
yeah, of course you can.
So you just push back.
Yeah. Excellent.
Oh, I see what you mean.
See how it's coming away now, the layer.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important to at least give it a 10 minutes so it's the acetone's getting a good soak in to the nail.
And does this hurt the client trying to take it off?
Not really, no. Some clients might find it a little bit sensitive, but it's not going to cause them any severe pain or anything like that, no. But that's why it's important that we use, as we get lower to the natural nail, you'll use a lesser grit. Perfect. So just to recap then, that's excellent. Do you want to go and take a seat back? So just to recap today then, Charlene, what are the 2 methods we would use to do a removal?
The foil method and the soak and the bowl method.
Excellent. And what 2 grit files would we use for a removal?
So you've got the choice of the 180, the 240, or the buffer as well.
Okay, and Morgan, which one would you use for which?
So you'd use the 181 first to take like the shiny layer off,
Excellent.
and then you can continue to use that until you get close to the nail,
Yeah.
and then you change to the 240 one
Yes.
to get the remainder off, and then you could use the buffer on the natural nail at the end just to kind of like tidy the nail.
Perfect, well done. So you've all got basically a referral guide here that you can naturally keep and refer back to in case there's any other points that you forget along the way. Any of you got any questions at all?
So like where can you purchase like the stuff, and then with the bowl method, can you use like any bowls?
No, so I would always recommend with the bowl method to use ceramic china. Sometimes if you use plastic, the acetone is going to melt the plastic. so it's not advisable. Some people in the past have you seen like the finger pots that you can use? But again, sometimes acetone can actually melt that, and they can be soaking for a while. Take it out and you'll see little holes in where it's actually has melted the plastic. So no, I would always go for ceramic bowls with that. With regards to buying acetone, you can get them from most beauty wholesalers. So places like your Sally's, Capital, places like that. Again, that's the same with your foils as well. You can either buy them online in your local beauty store, or literally, if you think I'm not going to spend out that kind of money, go and buy yourself a packet of cotton pads, a roll of foil, and literally make up your removal pads. So they're your options. Any other questions? No? Perfect. So I'm going to give you each a handout as well. Basically, it's just so I can get some feedback on how you feel the course has gone today. And I want you to be honest when you're doing your feedback as to whether you feel basically you've learned today what the objective was, which was how to do a removal and the 2 ways we could do it. So if I give you all a form to complete, this will be you.
Thank you.
And one for yourself. Perfect. Any other questions?
Like what other courses would you like recommend from like progressing on from this course? So if you were to like, if we've just done gel, what else?
So your other courses are, I mean, the most important thing is naturally to do your gel and your gel removal, because it's no good doing a gel course and then you don't know how to do a removal. So it's key factor that when you're doing your courses, they're kind of in sync, that you know, okay, I've done a gel course and now I know how to do removal. If you're then looking to basically go into the market further, then you've got your things like your acrylic courses that you can do, which most companies that do the train out there offer acrylic courses, beginner courses, which again, a lot of the stuff you'll learn on the acrylic course to do with anatomy of the hand and things like that, you've already learned in your gel polish course. So you're almost one step ahead, if you know what I mean. From there, again, e-file takes a lot of strain away from your arms, etc. Solves you not having to do a lot of filing by hands, those kind of things. Also is a lot quicker when you're doing a removal, because straight away you can get that top layer off. So sometimes you wouldn't even need to do a removal if you're e-file trained. So there are other courses, manis and pedis. So there's quite a lot. It's really gearing and understanding which road you want to take to go into the industry.
And then just one last question would be, can everyone like have a gel polish removal? Is there anything like that we need to look out for that stop doing as a gel polish removal?
So what I would say is, there are key things that you need to watch out for, contraindications and contractions when it comes to doing a gel removal. In fairness though, you're probably not going to see the problem with the client's nails if they're coming in with an acrylic or gel removal, because naturally their nails are naturally covered by either an acrylic or they're covered by a gel. So you're not going to see, until that removal's done, whatever's lying underneath on the natural nail. But again, that's the time that when, if it's a new client especially, and you do a gel removal, that you do examine the nails to make sure, look, I can offer a treatment whether it be gel or whether it be acrylic. Because if you was to do a gel removal and you noticed various things that were alarm bells setting off with the nails, then naturally you wouldn't be able to continue and go ahead by carrying out a further treatment. And then I would also not be advising your client to get a gel or an acrylic back on their natural nails until they've been and seen a doctor. Anything else? No? Excellent. So if you can just do your feedback, that'd be really good, and we can get that sorted. And hopefully I might see you again on future courses.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's okay.